Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light of dawn quietly spills across the horizon, you are here awake, present, and seeking something deeper. There is something sacred about this hour. While much of the world still sleeps, your soul has stirred. The hush of early morning holds a certain hollowness. Does not it feels like heaven leans in closer while the earth holds its breath? The chaos of the day has not yet arrived. The silence is not empty. It is expectant. Perhaps you come to this moment not from peace, but from pain. Maybe you have been carrying something heavy that no one sees. You smiled yesterday, but you wept in the dark. Maybe your heart is bruised from loss, or your thoughts are tangled in fear about what comes next. Maybe you are praying for a breakthrough that has not come. Or maybe you have stopped praying altogether, afraid to hope again. I think of a woman I once knew. She used to rise at this hour, every single morning, long before the sun did. She had lost her husband unexpectedly and was left alone to raise 2 children. Her days were filled with duties, but her mornings were sacred. Each dawn she would wrap herself in a worn shawl, sit near her kitchen window, and whisper not loudly, not eloquently, but honestly. Some mornings she wept. Other mornings she said nothing at all. But over time, something began to shift. Peace crept into the places where fear had lived. Provision came where lack had ruled. And slowly, she began to live again. It was not magic. It was mercy. It was not coincidence. It was communion. You see, prayer is not a performance. It is not a formula. It is not reserved for the perfect or the put together. Prayer is a conversation. It is the language of the soul reaching for the divine. It does not require you to have the answers. It simply requires you to show up with your heart open. And faith, true faith, is not pretending that everything is okay. It is believing that even when everything is not okay, God is still present, still able, still good. Faith is not a passive waiting. It is a living expectation. It is that quiet strength that says, even here, even now, I will believe again. So today, as the sun rises outside, let something rise inside of you too. Let this be more than a moment. Let it be the beginning of a holy conversation between you and the one who shaped your soul. You do not have to be fearless to begin. You only have to be honest. You do not have to know the way forward. You only have to take the next breath with a willing heart. Let the morning stillness wrap around you. Let the quiet steady you. This is not just a new day. It is a new chance, a new encounter, a new place to meet God, not in theory, but in truth. So breathe slowly. Let go of what you thought this time would look like. There is no pressure here. There is only presence. Wherever you are, however you come, you are welcome. Not because of who you are, but because of who He is. Come as you are, and let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning I come to you with a heart that feels tired and worn. The world has pulled at me in so many directions, and somewhere along the way, I lost the sound of your voice. I wake before the sun, not out of joy, but because sleep escapes me. My mind runs faster than my body can follow, filled with worries I cannot quiet, questions I cannot answer, an awareness that sits deep in my bones. I did not come to impress you. I came because I have nowhere else to go. I do not have polished words or brave declarations. I have need. I have H. I have silence that stretches through my chest like a long, hollow hallway. That is what I bring to you now. I do not even know what I am asking for. Sometimes I just want the H to stop. I want to feel again, to believe again, to hope without being afraid of the disappointment that might follow. I carry around a kind of emptiness that no one else sees. I laugh when people are around. I keep moving because if I stop, the pain might catch up. But in this quiet hour, before the noise of the day rushes in, I feel it all. And I do not want to pretend anymore. You see everything, even the things I hide from myself. You see the tears I swallowed, the words I never said, the dreams I buried because I was too tired to keep them alive. I miss you, not just your blessings or your help. I miss the closeness I once felt, the peace I used to wake up with, the sense that you were near, that somehow, despite everything, I was held. I have wandered in my own heart, and now I long to come back. I do not know how to fix the distance, but I am here. I am sitting with this H, offering it to you like an empty cup. I do not know how you will fill it, or when, but I trust that you can. You have not changed. It is me. I drifted. I forgot how to stay still. I let the noise drown out your whisper. But in this moment, in this silence, I am listening again. There is a heaviness I cannot shake. It is not just sadness. It is something deeper, a kind of spiritual fatigue that makes even faith feel far away. I read the promises, but they feel like they were written for someone else. I hear stories of miracles, but they do not seem to come close. I smile at good news, but my heart no longer leaps. It has grown cautious, suspicious even. I do not want it to be this way. I want to be tender again. I want to believe without bracing for the fall. I want to pray without feeling like I am only speaking into the air. I want to know, once more, that you are not only real, but present. Right here, right now. There are moments when I wonder if I still belong to you, not because I stopped loving you, but because I feel like I have failed you. I have doubted. I have been angry. I have blamed you for what hurt me. I have pulled away when I should have leaned in. I have gone quiet when I should have cried out. And yet, something inside of me still reaches for you, some small flicker that refuses to die. That is what brings me here. I do not come with perfection. I come with longing. I come with a soul that is cracked but still willing. I come as I am. And I hope that is enough. You have always met me in the quiet places, in the early hours when the sky is just beginning to blush with light. You have whispered peace over my fears. You have lifted my head when I could not lift it myself. You have wrapped comfort around me like a blanket when the world grew cold. I remember. Even now. I remember. You are not far. My feelings lie. But you are not a feeling. You are a constant. You are the anchor when the sea inside of me rages. You are the stillness when the storm refuses to end. You are the breath that keeps coming, even when I forget to ask for it. This morning, I do not ask for signs or wonders. I ask for you. Just you. I do not need lightning from the sky. I need your voice in my heart. I need your presence to be real to me again. I need you to come into the dry places and let them live. Into the weary bones and let them move. Into the silence and speak again. I do not need the answers today. I just need to know you are listening, that you still care, that I am not invisible to you, that I am not too far gone. I have tried so hard to hold everything together, to be strong, to be brave, but now I see it is not strength to hide my pain. It is strength to bring it to you. To trust that you do not turn away from brokenness, but draw near to it, that you do not condemn my weakness, but meet me in it, that you are not disappointed in my struggle, but ready to carry me through it. You are not watching from a distance. You are near. You always have been. So I release the pressure to perform. I let go of the need to prove anything. I quiet the voice that says I am too much or not enough. I stop running. I stop hiding. I stop pretending. And I simply say, I need you. Here in the early stillness, I need you. In the quiet H, I need you. In the spaces where I do not know how to pray, I need you. My soul stretches toward you, even when my words fall short. Fill what is empty, mend what is broken, remind me who I am when I forget. Show me again that hope is not foolish, that love is not lost, that faith is not for the lucky, but for the longing. You made me. You know me. You have not forgotten me. So I will sit with you this morning, not because I feel ready, but because you are always ready. I am here. I am yours. Speak into the silence. I am listening. Lord, if you are near, then hear me now. I do not have quiet words today. I have a cry that rises from the deepest places inside me. I am not whispering anymore. I am reaching. I am trembling. I am desperate. I do not want to carry this weight in silence. I do not want to pretend that I am fine when I am unraveling piece by piece. Something in me is breaking open, and I can no longer contain it. I need you to know all of it. I need you to hear the raw truth of where I stand. You know the things that shattered me, the moments I never told anyone about, the nights I stared at the ceiling and begged for morning to come faster, the hours I spent trying to make sense of what happened and why you allowed it. I do not want to be bitter, but I am tired of holding back what I feel. If you are the God who sees, then see this. See the aches that never sleeps. See the fear that wraps itself around my chest when I think of what might happen next. See the parts of me that are so afraid to believe again, because I do not want to be disappointed anymore. There are wounds I carry that have not healed, not because time has not passed, but because I have not known how to bring them to you without shame. I have tried to move on. I have tried to forgive. I have tried to be strong, to rise above the past, to hold my head high like nothing ever hurt me. But I am not above it. I am in it. And I need you here with me. Not someday. Not when I have figured it out. But now, in the middle of the H, in the middle of my own confusion, I remember the moment I stopped asking. The moment I decided it was safer not to hope, that it was easier to settle for survival than to reach for restoration. But I am done surviving. I want to live. I want to love without fear. I want to trust without walls. I want to wake up without dread sitting on my chest. But I can do it without you. I do not want to carry these burdens alone. I never could, but I tried. I thought if I stayed busy enough, strong enough, guarded enough, the pain would not win. But the truth is, it is still here, and so am I, which means I have not given up. And maybe that is enough for you to work with. God, do not pass by my tears. Do not overlook this cry. I am not trying to sound faithful right now. I am just being honest. And if you are near to the broken-hearted, then I am closer to you than I thought. Let my tears speak what my voice cannot say. Let my pain be seen by the one who holds every star in place. If you can manage the heavens, surely you can handle my heart. If you can calm oceans, surely you can quiet this storm in my soul. I am not asking for everything to be perfect. I am asking for you to come into the mess, to sit with me in the dark and remind me that I am not alone. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if you spoke to me out loud, if you called my name the way you did with Moses or Samuel or Mary. If I could hear your voice cut through the silence like a wind through trees. But then I remember that you still speak, even if it is not with sound. You speak through peace that does not make sense, through strength I should not have, through the way my heart keeps beating even when I think I have reached the end of myself. You speak through the fact that I am here, still reaching, still praying, still believing just enough to whisper your name again. Father, I have nothing left to hide. If you want honesty, here it is. I feel forgotten. I feel overlooked. I feel small and unseen and too broken to matter. But if your word says you leave the 99 to find the one, then maybe you are already on the way. Maybe you are closer than I know. Maybe this cry is not a sign of weakness, but a sound you have been waiting for. Maybe you never wanted me to have it all together. Maybe you just wanted me to come like this, with the rawness, with the H, with the cracked and imperfect pieces I have tried so hard to keep polished. I am not asking you to erase what has happened. I am asking you to redeem it, take the mess, the ruin, the regret, and make something out of it. Breathe life where it died. Breathe beauty where there was nothing but ashes. I cannot undo the past, but I believe you can use it. Somehow, some way. So here it is, all of it. The anger, the disappointment, the memories that still sting, the questions that have no easy answers. I lay them before you, not in defiance, but in surrender. Do not let this cry be wasted. Do not let it echo into nothing. I know you hear me. I may not feel it, but I know it. And if you hear me, then you are with me. And if you are with me, then nothing I face is too much. Then even in this pain, something holy can rise. I may be in the pit, but I am not forsaken. I may be aching, but I am not abandoned. You are here. You are listening. You are holding what I can no longer hold. So take it, God. Take the grief I cannot name. Take the fear I try to outrun. Take the pressure I was never meant to carry. I am not asking to be strong. I am asking to be held. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for presence. Wrap me in your mercy. Meet me in this broken space. Let this cry be more than pain. Let it be a beginning. Let it be the moment something shifts. I will not pretend anymore. This is me. This is now. And this is yours, God. If you are near me in the silence, help me not to misread it. I know I just cried out with everything inside me. But now, the stillness that follows feels too loud. It almost echoes. I keep waiting for something, anything to shift. A whisper, a sign, a sense of your touch. But instead, it feels like still air, like a room with the windows closed. And I do not know if it is you being quiet, or if I have just forgotten how to hear you. This silence is not empty of questions. It is full of them. Why do you let us wait so long sometimes? Why does your voice seem to fall away when we need it the most? Why do the heavens feel closed when our hearts are the most open? I do not want to doubt you, but I confess that I am tempted. I am tempted to believe you have stepped back, or worse, that you have turned away. I try not to say that out loud, but you already know every word that never leaves my lips. Lord, the silence does not scare me because you are silent. It scares me because I do not know what it means. It makes me wonder if I missed something, if I said something wrong, if I did not have enough faith, if I asked the wrong way. But deep down, even beneath the anxiety, something tells me this silence has a purpose. Maybe you are not ignoring me. Maybe you are shaping me. Maybe the quiet is not distance. Maybe it is a kind of closeness that does not need noise. I do not want to run from this. I want to learn how to sit with it, to be faithful in the hush, to trust that even in what feels like absence, you are working. But I am human, and my emotions are fragile. They shift like the wind. One moment I feel anchored, the next I am undone. I wish I could always be steady, always full of peace, but that is not my reality right now. What is real is this: I am still here. Still reaching, still turning my face toward you in this long and quiet space. God, if silence is the place you have brought me to, then show me how to wait well. Show me how to believe without constant evidence, how to worship without feelings, how to walk without signs. Show me how to be faithful in the unseen. You said those who wait on you would renew their strength. I do not feel strong, but maybe strength is not loud. Maybe it comes in the simple decision to stay present, to stay in prayer even when the skies are still. Maybe this is the strength you honor, not the kind that moves mountains, but the kind that does not move away when you are quiet. I want to trust you more than I trust my senses. I want to believe in your goodness when I do not feel good. I want to know you beyond what you give. I want to be still and not feel abandoned. But you know how hard that is for me. I have been taught to look for proof, to chase results, to measure closeness by comfort. But your ways are higher, and sometimes your silence is not withholding, it is refining. Sometimes it is not punishment, it is presence in another form. Lord, this stillness has exposed parts of me I did not know were there. My restlessness, my need for reassurance, my tendency to panic when I do not feel in control. But here, in this quiet space, you are showing me the truth of what I believe. Not the belief I say out loud, but the belief I live in secret. The one that shows up when nothing around me changes. The one that reveals whether I know you or just know about you. I see now that silence has a way of testing what is real. You are not like people. You do not withdraw because you are angry. You do not grow distant out of boredom. You do not withhold affection to make a point. Your silence is not cold. It is not cruel. It might just be holy. It might just be waiting for me to settle long enough to hear what cannot be shouted. Maybe you are not silent. Maybe I have just filled the space with too much noise, too much fear, too many assumptions. Teach me to clear the room inside my soul, to empty out what drowns out your whisper, to come back to the quiet not with dread, but with expectation. If you are the God who speaks light into darkness, then you can speak into this too. I am not asking for fireworks. I am asking for clarity, even a little, even the nudge that says, keep going, or the peace that tells me you are not done with me yet. I do not need a grand answer, just something to hold on to, just enough to remind me that you are near. Even now, even when I cannot trace your hand, let me trust your heart. This silence could break me, but I do not want it to. I want it to build me, make me strong in a way that lasts. Not in a way that shouts, but in a way that stands. Let this be where my roots grow deeper, where my spirit steadies, where I learn to walk by faith, not by the noise, not by the feeling, not by the outcome, but by the simple, unshakable truth that you are who you say you are, even in the stillness. So I will keep showing up. I will keep praying. I will keep calling on you, not because I always feel you, but because I know you, because you have been faithful before, because you have met me in the past. And I believe you are not done with me now. I will stay in this room. I will remain in this posture. I will open my hands even when they are tired. I will keep asking, seeking, knocking not to earn your presence. But remember that you are already here. Let this silence refine me. Let it burn away the lies I have believed. Let it deepen my roots and steady my gaze. Let it teach me that stillness is not emptiness, that quiet is not absence, that waiting is not wasted, and even when your voice feels far away, your heart is close enough to carry me through this hour and into whatever is next. Lord, before I ask for anything more, let me pause here in this moment and look back. Let me reach into the memory of all the places you have already met me. Because while I sit here feeling fragile in the silence, a quiet part of my soul begins to remember. It does not shout, but it rises gently, a stirring I did not expect. A flicker of memory that says you have not only been good once, you have been good again and again. Even when I forgot to see it, It is strange how pain tries to erase the past, how the weight of today makes yesterday feel blurry. But you have been present long before this moment. You carried me when I did not even know I was being held. I look back now and see it. In moments I had no strength. I made it through anyway. That was not chance. That was you. When the answer came at the last second. When the provision showed up quietly through a friend. When the door I was sure would stay shut opened unexpectedly. That was not coincidence. That was you, God. I remember the night I cried until I could not cry anymore. And I remember how peace crept in while I slept, and the sun rose softer the next day. I remember how I did not have the words to pray, but somehow the tears were enough, and somehow the weight began to lift. I remember how the very thing I feared the most did not destroy me. It grew me. It changed me. It shaped me into someone deeper, someone more aware of my need for you, someone more compassionate, someone who could sit with others in their pain and not look away. I remember that time I thought it was the end, and you brought a new beginning. Not quickly, not in the way I imagined, but perfectly, even if I only saw that part in hindsight. I remember how you sent the right voice when I was drowning in confusion, how a verse I had read 1,000 times became alive when I needed it most, how the silence broke not with thunder, but with peace. How I saw your fingerprints, not in the loud moments, but in the quiet ones, in the waiting room, in the long drive, in the still places where I almost gave up, and even in the seasons when I did not see the outcome I hoped for. You still sustained me. You still gave me breath. You still surrounded me with grace. You still reminded me that even when the outcome does not change, your presence does. You never promised an easy path, but you did promise to walk with me. And you never lied. You have never left. So now, in this morning light, I remember, not because I am trying to escape the now, but because I need to see it more clearly. My present H does not cancel out your past faithfulness. And what you have done before, you are still capable of doing again. My heart begins to steady when I trace the thread of your mercy back through the days behind me. I see how many times you protected me from things I did not even know were near. I see how you closed doors I once begged to open, only to lead me towards something better. I see how you healed places in me that once felt beyond repair. Father, remind me again and again when I am tempted to forget, when fear clouds my memory, when exhaustion dulls my vision. Let me never lose sight of who you have already proven yourself to be, because I need that reminder. I need it when prayers feel unanswered, when the silence feels too long, when the miracle I hoped for has not arrived yet. I need to remember that just because I do not see it now does not mean you are not moving. That just because I can trace the path does not mean you have lost your way. You are not a one-time God. You are not a past tense provider. What you have done once, you are able to do again. And even if the shape of the blessing looks different, the heart behind it remains the same. You are still merciful. You are still kind. You are still near. You are still for me. I remember how I once thought I had lost everything, and you slowly showed me that I still had you. And in having you, I had enough to begin again. God, let the memories come freely now. Let them flood my spirit like soft rain on dry ground. Let me recall the laughter that returned after grief, the clarity that followed confusion, the rest after seasons of striving. Let me gather these moments like stones of remembrance. Let me lay them down in my spirit like altars. Let me return to them when doubt comes knocking again. I do not want to be a person who forgets so easily, who lets the weight of today blind me to the ways you carried me yesterday. You deserve more than my worry. You deserve my trust. You have earned it again and again. So if I feel fear rising again, teach me to talk to it, to remind it of every mountain you have already moved, every valley you have already walked me through, every storm you have already calmed, not always outside me, but sometimes just within me. I remember the moment I almost quit, and how you gently whispered, "Not yet." I remember the prayer I barely had the strength to speak, and how you answered in a way I did not expect. I remember the season that felt endless, and how somehow it ended. I remember how you never mocked my weakness, how you never rushed my healing, how you never turned away from the mess. You came close. You stayed. So now I rise again, not just with hope for what is coming, but with gratitude for what already has been. You have been faithful. Not once, not twice, but always. And even if I never see another miracle, what you have done is enough to convince me that you are good, that you are who you say you are, that you are worthy of my trust. Let this remembrance settle deep. Let it become the foundation under my feet today. I do not stand on the unknown. I stand on your history with me. A history of compassion, a history of mercy, a history of grace that never let go. So I walk forward with open hands and a steady heart, not because everything is easy, but because I know the one who walks beside me, and I know he has never failed me yet. Father, as I remember how faithful you have been, something stirs deeper within me, something I have carried quietly, too ashamed to bring into the light. I have spoken my pain, my fears, my longing, but there is another weight I have not named fully. It clings to me in the quiet, pressing down when I try to rise, whispering lies when I reach for hope. It is shame, and I am tired of letting it define me. I do not want to hide anymore. I do not want to keep rehearsing my failures in the shadows of my mind, hoping you will not notice. You already know, and you have not turned away. There are choices I regret, words I wish I could pull back, moments where I knew what was right but chose what was easy, times when I stayed silent out of fear, times when I let pride speak louder than love. I look back and wince, not just at what happened, but at who I became in those moments. I know grace is for the broken, yet I have held myself outside of it, as if my mistakes were somehow too much for you to redeem. I have let shame become a false protector, thinking if I punish myself enough, I can keep from failing again. But all it has done is build walls between us. Lord, I do not want to carry what you already died to remove. I do not want to rehearse guilt when you have offered mercy. I do not want to shrink back from you when you are still reaching for me. You said that if we confess our sins, You are faithful and just to forgive. Not just faithful to listen, faithful to restore, faithful to cover, to cleanse, to free. That promise is not for the perfect. It is for me. For all the places I have missed the mark. For all the secrets I have buried. For all the times I have asked for forgiveness outwardly, while still clinging to the guilt inwardly. So here I am now, not just whispering, but fully surrendering. I lay it all down before you, not to relive it, but to release it. You never asked me to carry my own cleansing. You never told me to fix myself before coming close. You simply invited me to come, and so I do. I bring the selfish thoughts, the envy I nursed in silence, the judgments I made when I should have shown grace. I bring the jealousy that stung when others received what I wanted. I bring the sharp words I threw in anger and the moments I stayed distant when someone needed love. You already see it all. Nothing I confess surprises you. And still, you welcome me. Still, you call me beloved. Still, you offer a place at the table. That kind of love both humbles me and heals me, because I know I do not deserve it, and yet you give it freely. I cannot earn your mercy, but I can receive it. I can stop pretending I am too far gone. I can stop thinking I need to clean up before coming close. I can stop hiding behind old shame when you have already torn the veil. God, show me how to live unburdened. Teach me to let go of what you have forgiven. Help me stop carrying memories like chains around my soul. Help me silence the voices that echo past failures, as they are still who I am. I am not the person I was in my weakest moment. I am not the worst thing I have done. I am not defined by that night, that habit, that mistake. I am defined by grace, by your love that rewrites stories, by mercy that meets me every single morning and says, you still belong. There is a freedom I long for, a lightness I have only tasted on the edges. I want to walk in it fully. I want to live as someone truly forgiven, not just in word, but in posture. I want to stop punishing myself for sins you have already washed away. I want to stop apologizing for being a work in progress when you are not ashamed of my process. I want to stop running from the mirror, afraid of what I might see, because in you, I am being made new. In you, I am being rebuilt. In you, I am not just covered, I am clean. Let that truth take root in the places shame once grew. Let it silence the accusations that try to rise again. Let it rewrite the soundtrack playing in the back of my mind. No more walking with my head down. No more flinching when grace is offered. No more bracing for rejection when you have already called me chosen. I am not too broken. I am not disqualified. I am not unloved. You see me through eyes that are not blind to my flaws, but full of compassion anyway. Father, I want to live like someone who believes they are forgiven. I want my prayers to flow without the static of guilt. I want my worship to rise without the weight of unworthiness. I want my heart to beat with confidence not in myself, but in what you have done. And if shame tries to return, let me answer it with truth. Let me point to the cross and say, that debt is paid. That burden is gone. That story has a new ending. I do not walk alone. I walk with grace beside me. Within me, all around me. There is so much more you want to show me, but I cannot receive it while clinging to what I was never meant to hold, so I release it now. The guilt, the regret, the self-condemnation. I loosen my grip and let it fall at your feet. I will not pick it up again, not because I am pretending it never happened, but because I believe you when you say it is finished. I trust you when you say I am new. I take you at your word when you call me clean. So today, I step forward without chains. I breathe deeper. I lift my eyes. I accept what I cannot repay. I choose mercy over memory, grace over guilt. I choose to walk in what you have already given, not with shame wrapped around me, but with your love like a covering, soft and strong and sure. I walk away from the old accusations and toward the voice that calls me daughter, that calls me son, that calls me home. Lord, now that I have laid my shame at your feet, something deeper begins to surface, something I have buried beneath prayers and silence. I have asked you to forgive me, but I have not yet spoken about those I need to forgive. There are wounds in me not caused by my own hands, words spoken over me like curses, actions that left me bruised in places no one could see. People who left, people who betrayed, people who should have protected me but did not. I have carried those wounds like scars, but the truth is, some of them are still open. I want to forgive. I say that with trembling honesty, not because I feel ready, but because I know I can move forward while clinging to what is behind. I know bitterness does not protect me. It poisons me. It steals my sleep, clouds my joy, hardens my heart. I know resentment does not restore anything. It just rewinds the pain on a loop, playing back what I cannot change. And still, the letting go is hard, because forgiveness feels like letting them off the hook, like saying what happened was okay, and it was not. But Father, you never asked me to say it was okay. You asked me to release it, to place justice in your hands, not mine, to stop trying to carry the weight of being both wounded and judge, to trust that you see it all, and that nothing escapes your attention, not even the things no one else noticed. You are not asking me to pretend. You are asking me to surrender, to believe that my healing matters more than my revenge, to believe that freedom is better than control. So here, in the quiet of this morning, I name the names I have not dared to say aloud. I speak the situations that still sting. I open the doors I have kept locked because I was afraid of what might come out. I do not want to rehearse the pain, but I need to be honest about it. You can handle my honesty. You do not flinch when I tell the truth. So I lay it before you now, all of it. Every betrayal, every silence that should have been comfort, every time someone chose to walk away when I needed them to stay, every promise broken, every wound ignored. God, help me forgive, even if it is a process, even if I have to do it one piece at a time. Help me release the need to be repaid. Help me stop keeping score. Help me stop waiting for an apology that may never come. I do not want their power over me to remain. I do not want to live defined by what they did. I want to be free, not just from the memory, but from the grip it still has on my heart. You are the God of justice. You are also the God of mercy. Somehow, you hold both in perfect balance. I do not know how, but I want to follow you into that space. I want to live with a heart that stays soft, even when it has been broken. I want to love without suspicion. I want to trust without fear. I want to feel without flinching. But I know none of that happens while bitterness still lingers. Lord, I forgive not because I feel it, but because I choose it. Not because they deserve it, but because you ask it. Because you forgave me when I was still making excuses. Because you loved me when I was still wounding others in my own pain. Because you held me with compassion, even when I resisted. If you can extend grace to me, how can I withhold it from others? Your mercy humbles me. And in that humility, I find the strength to open my hands. I forgive the ones who never said sorry. The ones who denied it ever happened. The ones who blamed me for what they did. The ones who should have known better. The ones who made me feel small, invisible, unworthy. I forgive the ones I trusted who mishandled my heart. The ones who took without giving. The ones who saw my vulnerability as weakness. I forgive the ones who hurt me not once, but over and over. And yes, Lord, I even forgive myself for the times I let the pain turn me bitter. The times I shut people out before they could leave. The times I used silence as a shield. This forgiveness does not change the past, but it changes me. It unchains me from what was so I can step into what is. It makes room in my soul for peace, for joy, for love that is not filtered through fear. Forgiveness does not erase the story, but it rewrites the ending. It takes power away from pain and gives it back to grace. I want to live in that grace, to breathe it in and exhale it out, to walk lighter because I am no longer dragging the weight of what they did behind me. Father, teach me how to walk this out every day, because some days the pain will try to return. Some days the old anger will whisper. Some days the wound will feel fresh. On those days, remind me of this moment. Remind me that forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a decision, a sacred act of trust, a holy surrender, a defiant declaration that I am not bound by what broke me, that I am defined by what healed me. Let forgiveness become my language. Let mercy become my legacy. Let love win in places where hate once ruled. I want to be free from the past, and I want others to be free from the cage I have held them in within my heart. I want to walk unshackled, arms open, heart clear. I want to see people through your eyes, not through the lens of what they did, but through the lens of what you can redeem. So I choose this now. I choose to forgive, and I ask you to do what I cannot. Heal what is still raw. Fill what is now empty. Bind up what still bleeds. Let love rise in places where bitterness used to grow. Let joy take root where sorrow once reigned. Let grace flow, not only to me, but through me. I am not who I was when the wound was made, and I will not let the memory of it hold me hostage anymore. I am walking out of that place. I am walking toward healing, and I know you are walking with me every step of the way. Father, now that forgiveness has cleared the space inside me, I feel something I have not known in a long time. A stillness, not the silence I feared before, but something gentler, something holy. It does not shout, it does not rush, it settles slowly, like the hush that comes after a storm has passed. And in this stillness, I do not feel lost, I feel found. It is not a void, it is a presence, yours. And I realize now that this is what my soul was crying out for all along. Not noise, not answers, not constant movement, but rest. You created rest long before you asked us to work. You spoke the world into being, and then you paused. Not because you were tired, but because you were complete. I forget that sometimes. I get caught in the cycle of doing and fixing and proving. I treat rest like a luxury instead of a necessity. I run until I can tee, then collapse and call it surrender. But you are teaching me a better way. You are showing me that stillness is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is trust. It is the brave choice to stop striving and simply be. Lord, help me unlearn the belief that I must always be moving to matter, that I must always be productive to be valuable, that I must earn peace with performance. You do not measure me by my output. You do not love me more when I am busy. You are not impressed by how much I carry or how little I rest. You are after my heart, not my hustle. And when I finally sit still, you meet me in ways the rush never could. In this quiet, I notice things I usually miss. The way my breath slows when I stop trying to control everything. The way my thoughts untangle when I am not racing to the next task. The way my shoulders drop just a little when I realize I do not have to hold the world together. You are already doing that. And you are doing it better than I ever could. Stillness teaches me to listen, not just hear. To see, not just look. To receive, not just reach. It teaches me that peace is not something I have to find far away. It is something you offer right here, in the quiet moment between thoughts, in the gentle pause between heartbeats, in the space where I finally stop filling the air with my own voice and allow yours to be the only sound. God, let this be a sacred rhythm in my life, not just a rare retreat, but a daily return, a coming back to center, a realignment with what matters. I do not want to live in constant motion, afraid that slowing down will make me fall behind. I want to move at the pace of grace. I want to walk, not run, into your presence. I want to learn to abide instead of chase, to dwell instead of strive, to sit in your shadow and let that be enough. There are things you can only pour into me when I am still, revelations that do not come in the noise, healing that only settles when the dust does, perspective that only unfolds when the pressure lifts. I do not want to miss those things because I was too busy filling every moment with noise and effort. Teach me to wait without restlessness, to pause without guilt, to trust that nothing good is lost in the stillness, that it is actually where the best things grow. I used to fear stillness because I thought it meant emptiness, but now I see it as where you fill me. It is where you whisper what can be shouted. It is where you remind me who I am when I forget. It is where I do not have to earn anything. I can just be known, loved, held. This stillness does not erase my responsibilities. It reshapes how I carry them. It reminds me that I am not the source, that I am not expected to carry what only you can, that I can bring my burdens to you and walk away lighter, that I can say no to hurry and yes to presence, that I can live from rest, not just toward it. Let this become the way I begin again. Each day, each moment I am tempted to fall back into striving. Let me return here, to this inner quiet where you dwell. Let me choose stillness not as an escape, but as alignment, as a way of remembering that I was never created to run without pause, that you designed me with limits, and those limits are not flaws. They are reminders that I need you. Father, stillness is not always silent. Sometimes it is filled with tears I did not know were waiting. Sometimes it is where emotions rise that I have pushed away. Sometimes it is where truth catches up with me. But I am learning not to fear that, because even when the quiet is uncomfortable, it is good. Even when it brings up what I would rather bury, you are still with me in it. You do not rush me out of it. You sit with me until it becomes peace. So I will not fear the pause. I will not fill every space just to avoid discomfort. I will trust that stillness has a purpose, that rest is holy, that peace is not a prize I have to win, but a gift I must receive. And I receive it now, with open hands, with a quiet heart, with a soul that no longer needs to outrun itself. Let this stillness go with me through the rest of this day. Let it shape how I speak, how I move, how I respond. Let it be the posture I return to when the world begins to spin too fast again. Let it be the rhythm beneath every breath. A steady, sacred reminder that you are here, that I am enough in you, and that in this quiet space, restoration is already happening. Father, as I sit in the stillness that has begun to restore my weary soul, something deeper begins to rise within me, a quiet question, not loud but persistent. Can I trust you fully again, not just with the things I understand? Not just with the future that feels manageable, but with everything, the parts of me still tender, the places where disappointment left its mark, the questions I still do not have answers for. You have calmed me in this quiet place, but now you are asking for more. You are asking for my trust, my real trust. There have been times, Lord, when trust came easily, when blessings flowed and doors opened, and I could trace your hand in everything. But there have also been seasons where I gave my heart and then watched things fall apart. Moments where I prayed boldly and nothing changed. Days where I waited in faith and silence was my only answer. And slowly, without noticing, I built small walls around my heart, not to shut you out completely, but just to protect the pieces I was too afraid to lose again. I did not stop believing in you, but I began to believe with conditions. I started measuring how much to hope based on how much could handle disappointment. I began to treat trust like a risk instead of a refuge. I became cautious, careful, calculated. I held back the parts of me that once ran freely into your presence, because I was not sure if I could survive another letdown. But that is not the life you call me to. You are not asking me to protect myself from you. You are inviting me to surrender completely. So here I am, God, bringing the pieces of my guarded heart back to you. Not just the polished prayers, but the fragile places, the parts of me that flinch when hope knocks again, the parts that still brace for the worst. I do not want to live behind walls anymore. I want to trust you the way I did before I was ever wounded, before loss taught me to hold back, before time wore down my expectations. I want to trust you not because everything is guaranteed, but because you have never failed to be who you are. You are faithful. That word echoes inside me. Not just occasionally kind, but consistently trustworthy. Not just good when things go my way, but always good, even when the way is hidden. I remind myself that trust is not about certainty in outcome, it is about confidence in character. And your character has never wavered. You have held me in every valley. You have waited patiently when I wandered. You have been constant. Even when my faith flickered, you have never walked away. And because of that, I will choose to believe again. Trust is not easy, Lord, but I choose it. I choose to believe you are still writing my story. I choose to lean on your timing, even when mine feels urgent. I choose to walk by faith, even when the path is dim. I choose to rest in your promises, not because I see the evidence yet, but because I know who spoke them. You are not like man that you would lie. You are not reckless with my heart. And though I may not understand everything, I trust that you hold everything together with wisdom far beyond mine. God, teach me what real trust looks like. Let it shape how I speak, how I wait, how I pray. Let it fill my decisions with peace instead of pressure. Let it lead me to say yes when I feel uncertain and no when I feel afraid to disappoint others. Let it be the reason I sleep in peace at night and wake with courage in the morning. Let it show up in how I treat people, in how I release control, in how I forgive again, love again, believe again. I know trust is not a one-time moment. It is a daily choice, a steady surrender, a whisper I repeat when fear comes back knocking. I want to always feel brave, that I can choose to trust even then. Trust is not the absence of fear, it is faith that keeps walking through it. So I take the next step now, not because I know where it leads, but because I know who walks with me. You have been faithful before, and you will be faithful again. I remember when you made a way where there was none. I remember when you healed what looked broken beyond repair. I remember when you provided at the last moment, and when you whispered comfort that no one else could give. I remember, and because I remember, I trust. Even when I cannot see what is ahead, even when the outcome remains uncertain, I know you too well to doubt you now. There are places I still hesitate to release, dreams I have kept tucked away, afraid to name them out loud again. Things I wanted but stopped praying for because it hurt too much. But you are asking for those too. You are asking for every part of me to rest in your hands. And I want to say yes, even if my voice shakes, even if my heart still carries questions. I want to trust you enough to let go, to stop clutching what I can control, to believe that surrender is not loss, but freedom. So I give it all to you again, the dreams I buried, the plans I held too tightly, the people I can fix, the outcome I can guarantee. I give you the past that tries to shame me, and the future that tries to scare me. I give you the present moment, with all its quiet uncertainty, because you are in this moment. And if you are here, that is enough. Father, help me trust like a child again, not with naivety, but with pure belief, the kind that runs freely into your arms, not because it understands everything, but because it knows it is safe. Teach me to loosen my grip and open my hands. Let trust become the atmosphere of my life. Let it soften the places where fear has built defenses. Let it become my answer when doubt whispers and my anchor when storms rise. You have proven yourself worthy of trust, not through perfection in my plans, but through your presence in every step. I see it now. I feel it rising again, the courage to believe, the peace to release, the freedom to let you lead. I am not in control, but I am not lost. I am held, I am loved, and I am learning, day by day, to trust you fully once more. Father, now that trust has begun to take root again, I feel something shifting inside me, a subtle rise, like breath returning after long-held tension. The weight is still there in some ways, but it is lighter now. The fear has not vanished, but it no longer leads. And in this tender place between surrender and expectation, I sense your invitation to lift my eyes, to not just believe in you, but to believe you, to let hope breathe again. Not vague, not fragile, but focused, real, alive. I have spent so long looking down, at my feet, at my failure, at the immediate and the heavy. I have learned to scan the horizon for threats instead of blessings. I have trained myself to expect delays, setbacks, losses. It was survival for a while, a defense against disappointment. But you are calling me higher now, not in pressure, but in purpose, not in demand, but in vision. You are saying it is time to look up, to fix my eyes on what is promised, not just what is present, to stop letting past pain dictate how I see the future. God, I want to see like that. I want to see through your eyes. I want to look beyond what seems probable and hold on to what you have spoken. I want to train my gaze toward what is unseen, not in denial of reality, but in deep alignment with truth. Because what is true may not yet be visible. What is promised may not yet be tangible. But that does not mean it is not real. That does not mean you have forgotten. So I lift my eyes now, not just in motion, but in meaning. I lift them to where my help comes from. I lift them beyond this moment, beyond this season, beyond this uncertainty. I begin to imagine again, not as wishful thinking, but as worship. I dare to see with faith. I dare to dream in color. I dare to hope with specificity, not general prayers laced with safety nets. I let my heart speak bold requests again, not to manipulate you, but to join you in what you already desire to do. Let my hope be rooted in who you are, not just in what I want. Let it be strong enough to stand even when the waiting lingers. Let it be vibrant enough to cast out despair. Let it stretch wide and reach deep and shine bright. Let it be an anchor and a lantern, a weapon and a window. Let it remind me that you are not just a God of what was, or even of what is, but of what is to come. You are the God of forward, the God of new beginnings, the God who speaks things not yet seen into existence. I have read your word and seen how you called Abraham to look up at the stars before he had a sun. How you told him to count the impossible, to envision what his own hands could not yet touch. I feel you asking the same of me now, to look at what seems beyond and believe it is still possible, to stretch my faith to match your faithfulness. You never rebuke your children for expecting too much, only for expecting too little. So let me ask again. Let me believe again. Let me anticipate again. Let me live like someone who knows something good is on the way. Not because life is always kind, but because you always are. Not because everything will go exactly how I imagine, but because you know better than I do what will bring life. Hope is not soft. Hope is not naive. Hope is defiant. It is the refusal to let what I see dictate what I believe. It is the resilience to keep reaching, even when my hands come back empty. It is the strength to bless the waiting place, even while looking toward the breakthrough. It is the courage to praise in the middle of not yet. Lord, protect this hope. Water it when it starts to wither. Feed it when it grows faint. Guard it against the voices that call it foolish. Let it burn quietly when it cannot blaze loudly. Let it keep me moving forward when nothing else can. Let it be my song in the night and my sunrise in the dark. I ask for new eyes, Lord. Eyes that are not blurred by disappointment. Eyes that do not search for warning signs, but for open doors. Eyes that notice small beginnings and dare to rejoice. Eyes that catch the glimmer of what you are building before the structure rises. Let my vision align with heaven, not with fear. I do not want to live in resignation. I do not want to manage expectations just to avoid hurt. I want to live fully awake, fully surrendered, fully hopeful. I want to build with joy, to plan with peace, to speak with confidence. Not arrogance, but assurance, the kind that knows you are both the author and the finisher. You have started good things in me. You have planted seeds I have not yet seen bloom. You have whispered dreams I once buried in discouragement. Bring them back, God. Bring them back in full color. Breathe life into what I forgot. Fan the flame of what once burned bright. Let me remember not only who you are, but who I am in you. I am not hopeless. I am not stuck. I am not forgotten. I am not too late. I am one step away from seeing what you have been preparing behind the curtain of time. I am on the edge of something holy, something healing, something only you could orchestrate. So I lean forward. I walk expectantly. I smile at the future. Not because I know it, but because I know you. Father, I lift my eyes, not because everything around me has changed, but because everything within me is changing. I lift my eyes because hope is rising again, and in this hope, I choose to live, to breathe, to build, to wait, and to believe. Father, as I lift my eyes toward the promise, I know you are calling me not just to see it, but to move toward it. And I want to. I do. But I have to be honest with you. This step is not easy. My heart still carries weight. My body still feels tired. My thoughts still hesitate. I have spoken hope. I have whispered trust. But now I am here, in the space where faith must move. and I feel the ache of what has not healed yet. The truth is, I am still hurting, and you are still asking me to walk, not in a sprint, not in the strength of my own will, but in quiet obedience, one foot in front of the other, one yes at a time, even when it trembles, even when it bleeds. You are not waiting for me to be pain-free to move. You are waiting for me to believe that you can carry me in the movement, that you are not just present in the destination, but fully God here, in the middle of the limping forward. I do not want to confuse movement with strength. I am not strong right now, not in the way the world defines it. But maybe real strength is different. Maybe it is this, saying yes to you again, even while tears are still drying on my face. Maybe it is the willingness to show up to the day when the night before still echoes in my heart. Maybe it is not waiting for everything to make sense, but trusting you enough to start walking anyway. So I move, Lord, slowly, softly, sometimes with a heart that still shakes, but I move, not because I see the full map, not because I am sure of where the road leads, but because you said, follow me, and I would rather follow you in uncertainty than stay still in false safety. I would rather step into the unknown with you than stay behind guarded by fear. There is a myth I have believed for too long that obedience should feel good, that walking in faith should always feel easy. But you never promised comfort. You promised presence. You never said the path would be painless. But you did say you would be with me in every valley, in every fire, in every flood. So I will walk while it still hurts, not as a denial of my pain, but as a declaration of my trust. I am not ignoring what is heavy. I am choosing to carry it in your direction. You know what it is like to walk with a broken heart. You carried the weight of the world, and you did not turn back. So when I struggle to take the next step, remind me I am not the first. Remind me you know this road. You have walked it. You have made a way through it. And where you have gone, I can follow, not in my own strength, but in yours. Give me courage to move without full clarity. Give me grace to walk without the applause. Help me obey without needing immediate results. I know faith is not proven in what I feel, but in what I choose. And today I choose to go forward, even with a limp, even with questions, even with a heart that still carries bruises. I choose to believe that healing sometimes comes not before the movement, but because of it. Let every step be a seed. Let every act of obedience plant something eternal. Let me walk not for outcomes, but out of love. Let me keep going even if no one else sees it. No one else understands it. Let me remember that you see every silent yes, every private battle, every act of faith done in the shadows, and you honor them all. There are dreams that feel too risky to touch again, desires that feel too fragile to name out loud, things I once held close but laid down when pain came. But if you are calling me to pick them up again, even now, even with trembling hands, I will, even if I am scared, even if I am scarred, because I would rather try with you than hide from hope forever. Teach me to move with wisdom, not with haste, with stillness in my spirit, even as my feet keep going. Let peace lead me, not pressure. Let your voice guide me, not fear. And when the pain flares again, when old wounds whisper doubts. Be louder. Speak louder. Father, let your truth rise above the noise. Let it steady my steps. Let it remind me that healing is not always instant, but it is always possible. That progress does not have to be pretty to be holy. Help me forgive myself when I stumble. Help me show kindness to the version of me that tried, but did not get it right. Help me silence the voice that says, I should be further along by now. You are not in a hurry. You measure growth in hidden ways, and sometimes the greatest miracle is not that I arrived, but that I kept going when quitting felt easier. Father, I walk not to earn your love, but because I already have it. I move not to prove anything, but because you called me. I show up not because I am strong, but because I trust that you are. And that is enough. Your strength is enough. Your presence is enough. Your grace is more than enough. Even now, as the pain lingers in certain corners of my heart, I know you are near. I feel you not just pushing me forward, but walking beside me, matching my steps, carrying what I can see, encouraging me with every breath. You have not asked me to run. You have only asked me to walk, and so I will. One step, then another, in faith, in surrender, in love. This movement, however small, is worship. This quiet obedience is my offering, and though my steps may be slow, they are steady, they are real, they are mine, and they are guided by you. So I will keep going, not because I know what is around the corner, but because I trust who is waiting for me when I get there. Father, as I continue to walk, sometimes with a limp but always moving, I begin to sense the need to prepare not for what I see now, but for what you are promising to bring. The path before me is not clear, the destination not yet visible, but you are calling me to readiness. I do not always understand why I must prepare before the blessing arrives. I wonder why the answer sometimes feels delayed, why the miracle waits while I gather vessels, build rooms, and plant seeds in what seems like dry ground. But you have shown me that preparation is not separate from faith. It is part of it. It is the expression of belief before the visible. It is the way my hands participate in the work you are already doing behind the scenes. Like Noah building the ark before the flood, like Joseph storing grain in the years of plenty before famine came, like the woman filling jars with oil before they overflowed. Preparation is not doubt, but trust in action. It is the posture of expectancy that readies the heart and the hands to receive. God, help me to prepare with joy and patience. Help me to build, to gather, to sow, even when the soil feels dry and the promises seem distant. Teach me to see every small step as sacred, every act of obedience as a seed planted in hope. Let me not grow weary in well-doing, even when the fruit is not immediate. Let me remember that you are faithful to complete what you have begun, that the unseen is as real as the seen, that my preparation today is making room for the breakthrough of tomorrow. I confess that sometimes I am tempted to wait until I feel ready before I prepare, to gather resources only when I am certain the blessing is coming, to build only when I see the door open. But you call me to a different way, to move forward with empty hands, trusting that you will fill them, to prepare in faith, not just in sight, to act in hope, not just in assurance. Because you are a God who honors faith that moves before the miracle appears. Lord, I want to prepare not from a place of fear or pressure, but from a heart full of gratitude and expectancy. Let preparation be my worship. Let readiness be my declaration. When others see only empty jars, let them see my faith filling them. When the world sees uncertainty, let me see your promise unfolding. When the night feels long and the answer feels far, let my hands still move with purpose and my spirit stay aligned with your will. There are moments when preparing feels lonely, when the waiting feels endless, when the work feels heavy and the reward unseen. But I cling to the truth that no step of faith is ever wasted. You count every tear, remember every prayer, and honor every act of obedience. You are not silent to my efforts. You are working in ways I cannot yet understand. And my preparation is part of the story. You are writing a story of redemption, restoration, and resurrection. So I gather what I can, the pieces of my broken heart, the hopes I still hold, the gifts you have entrusted to me. I build what is needed, the relationships, the skills, the character, the faith. I sow seeds of kindness, patience, and love in the soil of each day. I prepare for what is not yet seen, because I believe in the God who sees all things, the God who makes ways in wilderness and rivers in dry places. Teach me to trust the process, even when the outcome is delayed, to find peace in the preparation, even when the promise is delayed, to praise you in the waiting, even when the answer seems distant, because you are not just the God of the destination, you are the God of the journey, the one who walks beside me in the building, the gathering, the sowing, and the waiting. I do not want to miss the sacred moments hidden in the preparation, the lessons that shape me, the character that forms me, the faith that strengthens me. Let every step, every breath, every effort be pleasing to you. Let my readiness be a sign to heaven that I am expecting what you have promised. Let my heart be a vessel open and waiting, ready to receive the fullness of your blessing when it comes. Father, I trust you are at work even when I cannot see it. I prepare my heart and hands with hope and faith. I move forward, knowing you are faithful to bring the harvest in due season. I surrender my timing to your perfect plan. I lay down my doubts and rise in expectancy, because you are the God who makes all things new, who turns waiting into blessing, who multiplies small beginnings into great abundance. So today, I choose to prepare with a willing heart. I choose to trust while I wait. I choose to act even in uncertainty. I choose to believe that the best is yet to come. And I walk this path with confidence, because you go before me. Your promises light my way. Your presence fills my soul, and your faithfulness is my sure foundation. Father, as I prepare and move forward in faith, you remind me that victory is not only for the end of the fight, but for every moment I choose to praise you along the way. I have felt the weight of waiting, the heaviness of uncertainty, and the weariness of the battle. Yet you call me to lift my voice now, to declare your goodness and power before I see the full outcome. This kind of praise is not dependent on circumstances. It is a bold act of trust. It is an anthem of hope sung in the heart of the fight. Lord, I know that praising you in the storm does not mean the storm disappears instantly. It does not always change the facts or ease the pain right away. But praise changes me. It changes where I stand and how I see. It shifts my gaze from what is wrong to who is right. It breaks chains of despair and opens doors of possibility. When I choose to worship you in the struggle, I am aligning myself with your kingdom, not just this world's troubles. I remember the stories of your people, those who praised you before the walls fell and before the enemy fled. They did not wait for perfect conditions. They did not wait for the mountain to be moved or the giant to be defeated. They lifted songs in the middle of the battle. And through their worship, you fought for them. I want to be like that, a heart that refuses to be silenced by fear, a soul that sings even when it hurts, a spirit that trusts your power beyond the visible. God, help me find the courage to praise you when the future is unclear and the journey is hard. Teach me to celebrate your presence in the present, even when the victory is still on the horizon. Let my words be a declaration of faith, a weapon against doubt, and a beacon of light for those around me. May my praise be a testimony that you are faithful, not only when all goes well, but especially when all feels uncertain. I confess, sometimes it is hard to praise when my heart is heavy, when the pain feels too deep, or the disappointment too sharp, when my prayers seem unanswered and the silence too long. But I want to learn the discipline of worship that does not depend on feelings. The worship that arises from knowing you are holy and good, no matter what, the worship that stands firm when storms rage, confident that you are the God who reigns over all. Lord, let my praise be genuine, not just words repeated out of obligation. Let it flow from a heart that has seen your faithfulness in the past and believes in your power for the future. Let it be a source of strength to me when I am weak, a song of victory in the midst of the fight, a declaration that no matter what comes, you are my refuge and my strength, my shield and my salvation. When I lift my voice, let it not only be heard in heaven, but let it also shake the strongholds in my life. Let it dismantle fear, unravel confusion, and break the chains of hopelessness. Let my praise be a call to the enemy that I will not be defeated, that I am anchored in the one who holds the universe, that I walk in the power of your name, not by my own strength, but through your mighty Spirit. Father, as I praise you now, I also ask for eyes to see your victories, even the small ones. Let me not overlook the moments you have already won, answered prayers, moments of peace, glimpses of your grace. Let these victories fuel my faith and remind me that you are working behind the scenes, even when I cannot yet see the full picture. Help me to praise you in all circumstances, knowing that true worship honors you beyond my understanding. Teach me to rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and constant in prayer. Let my heart echo the confidence of those who trust in you, who know that every battle fought with you is already won, and let that truth settle deep within me, so that my worship is not just a response to victory, but a declaration of victory yet to come. Lord, this morning I choose to praise you boldly. I choose to declare your goodness loud enough to drown out my fears. I choose to sing your praises with a heart full of expectancy, even if the answer seems far, because I know you are faithful. I know you are powerful, and I know that when I worship you, I am standing on holy ground where miracles begin. So I raise my voice now, not because the battle is over, but because the battle is already yours. I worship you for who you are, not just for what you do. I proclaim your victory in my life, in my heart, and over every challenge I face. And I trust that as I worship, you are moving in ways I cannot yet see, making paths where there seem to be none, and bringing triumph out of trial. Father, the song of victory is still ringing in my chest, and with that echo you draw my focus to the battleground hidden behind my own eyes. Thoughts shape horizons, beliefs build ceilings. What enters my mind soon steers my steps. You know how quickly praise can be choked by unguarded whispers of fear. So you call me now to watch the gate alert where lies try to slip in dressed as sensible concerns, where old regrets sneak back wearing the scent of shame, where the clamor of voices competes to name my worth. Teach me to discern the first knock of a toxic thought before it finds a chair at the table of my imagination. Let truth be the password. Let your promises stand sentinel. If an idea cannot align with your word, let it find no lodging here. Give me courage to confront every narrative that declares I am less than loved, unworthy of purpose, sentenced to repeat yesterday's failures. Those stories are counterfeit and collapse in the light of grace. I confess I have at times entertained anxiety as though it were a wise advisor, rehearsed worst-case endings as survival drills. Forgive me for making fear feel at home. From this moment I revoke its lees. I choose to curate what plays on the screen of my thoughts. Where doom once looped, I will stream your faithfulness. Where envy scrolled, I will display gratitude. Where comparison ranked me, I will remember I am uniquely crafted and sustained by you. Holy Spirit, train my reflexes. When self-doubt whispers, remind me I am your workmanship. When regret reenacts old scenes, interrupt the replay with redemption's ending. When the future paints shadows, flood the canvas with the certainty of your presence. Let meditation become sanctuary, not courtroom. Your word is living, let it breathe through every corridor of my mind until stale air turns fresh. Place a melody in my thoughts that outlasts the noise of the day. Guide me to scriptures that answer unspoken worries before they harden. Prompt me to step away from screens or conversations that siphon hope. Help me build quiet pauses where I can reset deep breath. Whispered prayer. Gentle realignment. These small disciplines are bricks in an unseen wall guarding the miracle you grow within me. And when intrusive thoughts breach the line, let grace guard my response. No shame for the arrow that flies, only swift action to remove it. I will not condemn myself for the battle. I will celebrate every moment I choose truth over turmoil. Victory thrives in repeated choices. Today I decide again. My mind is a garden, and only seeds from heaven may bloom. You are the keeper. I am the caretaker. and together we will see a harvest of peace. I anchor this resolve with practice. Morning declarations of truth, gratitude scribbled before tasks so the day begins in abundance. Boundaries around dialogue that spirals into cynicism. Music that lifts, books that nourish, silence that heals, each choice a kept gate, a lamp trimmed, a reminder that hope has a home here. Father, broaden my perspective. Show me how a protected mind overflows into words that shield others. Let encouragement spill from a heart uncluttered by insecurity. May my space become a haven where friends breathe easier, because hope is spoken here. When disagreement arises, grant clarity to hold convictions without hosting contempt, proving that firm faith can still feel like open arms. Some days fatigue will crack the gates. Headlines will roar louder than hymns. Disappointment will stage a takeover. Pull me back then to this vow to guard the unseen. Remind me 10 redirected seconds can reroute an emotional current, that your mercies are new every sunrise, and yesterday's slaps need not stain today's canvas. Thank you for the gift of a sound mind, evidence of your spirit within me. May I steward it well. May my thought life become an ongoing doxology, an inner architecture of praise testifying to the world that Christ truly dwells inside. As my mind prospers, let that prosperity ripple outward into healthy words. Brave decisions. Creative solutions. Compassionate actions. Here at the gate I take my post, not in grim vigilance but hopeful anticipation. Every lie refused makes room for deeper revelation. Every anxious narrative silenced clears space for strategic wisdom. Every memory redeemed becomes testimony, ready to comfort another traveler. My guarded mind is not a fortress of isolation. It is a reservoir of peace ready to flow wherever you send me. So I lift my thoughts toward what is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy. I rehearse your promises until they weave through every neural path like golden threads. Binding my outlook to heaven's perspective, I breathe slow, smile easy, and welcome the day with confidence. Knowing the gate is watched, the heart is steady, and the author of truth is guiding each thought toward life. Father, my voice still rings with the praise I offered moments ago, and the echo reminds me that every song of victory must be guarded. As the music fades, I sense your gentle hand turning me inward, asking me to examine the secret places where lesser loves still sit upon thrones you never gave them. I carry no stone statues, yet within me rise silent altars built of approval, success, comfort, control, even ministry itself. They do not shout their names. They whisper them, wrapping promise around my fears until I call dependence devotion. Lord, you have been patient while I chased shadows, but your kindness refuses to share the space meant for glory. I remember the times I clung to reputation until criticism crushed me, or trusted in savings until a bill shook my illusion of security. Each collapse was mercy, exposing what could never save. Today, I will not wait for another breaking. I open the doors of my heart and invite your light to sweep across every shelf, every hidden corner. Show me what I still protect more fiercely than your presence. Some idols are obvious habits that dull my spirit, screens that steal my hours, passions that drain my strength, yet others wear holy costumes. I can quote scriptures while worshiping productivity, pray for influence while craving applause, serve people while secretly feeding pride, unmask them all. Father, strip away their disguises until my loyalties stand bare. I do not want half-hearted freedom. I want a single, undivided flame. Give me courage to dismantle what I built. Help me delete the numbers that validate my worth. Set boundaries where work tramples Sabbath. Release relationships that tug me from obedience. Teach me that surrender is not loss, but alignment. That when lesser gods fall, spacious joy rises. Replace every false refuge with the shelter of your name. God, I confess the idol of control, the plan I grip when faith feels risky. I surrender it now. Guide my steps without the map I once demanded. I confess the idol of comfort, the soft cage that keeps me from daring. Fill me with holy appetite for the unfamiliar paths of your purpose. I confess the idol of comparison, the measuring stick that robs quiet gratitude. Let me celebrate your unique story in me without glancing sideways. Let this be more than confession. Let it be demolition. Let worship become the hammer that breaks the brittle altars. Gratitude the fire that burns their debris. And ongoing obedience the walls of a new sanctuary where only you reside. When temptation to rebuild arises, remind me of the emptiness those idols offered, and the fullness your presence now provides. Father, breathe upon the cleared ground. Plant in its soil the seeds of pure devotion, humility that listens, generosity that risks, courage that acts, patience that waits. Water them with your word until transformed desires bloom. Let my life preach one message. Christ alone. Above all. Within all. Through all. And when people see the change, let them not marvel at discipline, but at grace. For it is grace that empowers the tearing down, and grace that fills the space left behind. I stand here lighter, freer, ready for deeper intimacy, knowing that every surrendered idol becomes room for your glory to dwell without rival. Keep reminding me, Lord, that idol breaking is not a moment but a rhythm. Each dawn invites inspection. Each choice reveals allegiance. When success returns, let gratitude bow lower than ego. When disappointment stings, let trust speak first. Fasten my heart with a new yes every morning, a quiet pledge to keep the throne clear. Place your spirit as watchman over my imagination. If an old idol creeps back, let conviction ring quickly, leading me to repent without shame. Let the compassion that freed me keep drawing me forward. Make consecration companionship, not confinement, a daily walk in gardens restored. Father, for those who share my road, use the space left by fallen idols to reveal your kindness. May my freedom spark their own longing. Show through my life that surrender is sweeter than striving, that the heart was made for one king. Give me a holy memory when counterfeits saviors glitter. Let me recall this sunrise, the sound of crumbling altars, the taste of clean air. Let remembrance guard me, so I never trade the vast security of your rule for the fragile illusion of control. This remains my desire, to walk light, love large, and worship with an undivided mind. May every heartbeat echo the song of heaven. You alone are worthy. You alone are enough. Keep me here. Father, single-eyed and whole, forever free in the light of your unrivaled glory. If tomorrow I wake forgetful, whisper again, return, return to love, humility, devotion. I will come, for my deepest joy lives where every rival is gone and only you remain. Father, the dust of toppled idols is still settling around my soul, and in the quiet I hear your timeless invitation come close. Come home. Come back to the center where it all began. You never wanted only my obedience or my output. You wanted my heart. I remember when love for you felt easy, when sunrise stirred awe instead of a to-do list, when worship was less a task and more a breath. Somewhere along the winding road, familiarity diluted wonder, routine replaced romance, and holy fire cooled to embers of obligation. Yet you have not changed. Your gaze is still warm, your voice still gentle, your arms still open wider than my wandering. So I return, not as a stranger seeking entry, but as a beloved child remembering the Father's house. I bring no resume, no defense, only hunger. Hunger for the simplicity of loving you without pretense, without stages, without striving to impress. Remind me how to sit with you in silence and feel it brim with meaning. How to read your word and hear it speak my name. How to pray and sense the room fill with quiet joy. Let the memories of first encounters rise like morning mist. The tears of gratitude, the laughter of newfound freedom, the thrill of knowing I was fully known and still fully wanted. God, peel away the layers of performance that grew over my heart. Strip the titles, the goals, the self-assessed worth, until wonder stands uncovered. Awaken curiosity again, curiosity about your heart, your thoughts, your dreams for this day. Make me a student of your presence, eager to notice the slightest whisper, quick to celebrate the smallest glimpse of glory, sunlight on leaves, mercy in a stranger's smile, truth that lands with perfect timing. May each discovery feed affection, and each affection spark more discovery, a holy cycle of growing love. Teach me to approach Scripture not as information, but correspondence letters from the one who loves me most. Let familiar verses shimmer with fresh color. Let hard passages draw me into dialogue instead of distance. When I sing, loosen self-consciousness until melody becomes embrace. When I serve, guard my motive so love leads, not achievement. When I rest, remind me love is still the loudest yes I can give. I confess how easily lesser loves compete. The applause of people, the rush of progress, the comfort of predictability. None are evil, yet each becomes empty when it outranks devotion. Reignite holy jealousy within me, zeal that will not settle for divided affection. Brand upon my memory how dry success felt without intimacy, how heavy ministry became without delight, how lonely crowds felt when communion waned. Let that memory steer me back whenever I drift. Father, romance my spirit anew. Surprise me with gentle nudges to step away from screens and step into secret places. Nudge me to linger after the song ends, to walk slower through creation, and to journal questions rather than hurried conclusions. May spontaneous gratitude interrupt routine tasks. May sudden compassion redirect my schedule. May midnight awakenings turn into whispered conversations with you beneath the hush of the dark. And let love overflow. A heart rekindled cannot stay contained. Teach me to translate affection into action, kindness without calculation, generosity without announcement, forgiveness without delay. Let lovers of God be obvious not by volume, but by fragrance. Peace that steadies rooms, joy that lifts faces, patience that disarms anger. Where cynicism once guarded wounds, let tenderness now guard wonder. If ever duty tries to eclipse delight again, call me back swiftly. Send reminders through a child's laughter, an old hymn humming on the breeze, a sudden ache for quiet. Keep short accounts between us. Let repentance become reflex. Forgiveness a wave that washes grime away before it hardens. I do not fear failing. I fear forgetting. So anchor me daily in first love, the love that found me, filled me, and still fuels every good thing that follows. I open my hands, my plans, my carefully stacked priorities. Breathe upon them. Rearrange as you wish. If you ask for pause, I will pause. If you invite risk, I will risk. Because love listens first, then acts. My greatest ambition is not accomplishment, attachment branches clinging to the vine. Drawing life, bearing fruit that tastes of heaven. Thank you for welcoming my return without lecture or ledger, for celebrating the simple step toward home with music in the halls of grace. Let that song echo through my hours today. May every breath, word, and choice be a quiet "I love you" whispered back to the one who loved me first and loves me still. Father, having rediscovered the tenderness of first love, my heart longs for deeper fellowship, and your word reminds me that such nearness is carried on the breath of your spirit. I refuse a romance recalled only in memory. I want living communion, breath meeting breath, fire meeting embers until they glow again. So I open every door, hallway, and secret drawer and say, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here today. I admit there were corners I barred to your influence, fears of what you might rearrange, pride in what I thought I could manage, caution shaped by past misuse of your name. But love that truly returns holds nothing back. Come and occupy without restriction. If furniture must move, move it. If walls must be knocked down, swing the hammer. If windows must be unsealed so fresh wind can sweep away staleness, fling them wide. Be more than an honored guest. Be the owner who holds the title deed. Sign your name across my motives, affections, and ambitions until every line reads yours. Saturate my common hours so completely that washing dishes becomes worship, answering emails becomes ministry, and walking a crowded street feels like carrying a lantern of mercy into shadows. Fill my mind with truth that dislodges lies. Fill my imagination with visions born in heaven, solutions for problems, songs for sadness, ideas that bless neighborhoods. Fill my body with strength that outlasts natural stamina. Fill my mouth with words that heal, correct, reconcile, inspire. Let no syllable escape my lips that you have not first anointed with grace. Bestow fruit that proves adoption, love that endures offense, joy that bubbles in scarcity, peace that stills panic, patience that disarms hurry, kindness that surprises cynicism, goodness that chooses integrity unseen, faithfulness that keeps small promises, gentleness that diffuses conflict, self-control that honors boundaries etched by heaven. Teach me to listen. When conversation grows loud, tune my inner ear to your subtle nudge. When decisions loom, let your quiet conviction outweigh pressure. When temptation whispers shortcuts, remind me lasting joy never grows on stolen ground. Whisper scripture the instant it is needed, steering me from unseen cliffs. Walk through my relationships, soften sharp edges of tone. Alert me when sarcasm masks insecurity. Lead me to apologize quickly, to bless without agenda, to honor the image of Christ in every face. Guard my home with laughter, honesty, prayer. Turn meals into communion tables, where stories are shared and burdens lifted. Move through my vocation, whether tasks are lofty or humble. Crown them with eternal purpose. Let excellence rise not from competition, but from reverence. If promotion comes, keep me bowed low. If obscurity remains, remind me you see. Either way, let light spill. Brood over my city. Hover above schools, hospitals, courts, markets. Birth creativity where despair reigned. Unity where division drew lines. Justice where power abused privilege. Use my hands as extensions of compassion. My voice to advocate for the voiceless. My resources to mend what greed has broken. Spirit of holiness, purge what grieves you. Quiet compromise. Lingering resentment, subtle doubt dressed as sophistication. Replace them with awe that pauses mid-sentence, because the nearness of God fills the room. Awe that moves me to tears when a single sinner turns. When a wounded soul forgives, when a child sings unashamed. When evening comes, remind me you remain. Let your presence settle over my dreams, turning night into a sanctuary where revelation flows and anxieties dissolve. Should dawn find my heart forgetful, wake me with that gentle conviction. Yield and live. Father, thank you for the costly gift of your Spirit. I receive him not as a supplement, but as the very life of Christ within me. May this inner river never be dammed by neglect or fear. Let it roll, rise, and rush outward until deserts bloom and thirsty hearts taste and see the Lord is good. Should resistance rise tomorrow, grant quick surrender. When discouragement says nothing changes, open my eyes to miracles, a softer answer. A weakened habit, a bolder prayer. Teach me to celebrate seedlings. Forests begin as hidden sprouts. Holy Spirit, craft stories in my yielded hours. Compose music from mundane rhythms. Paint redemption on familiar streets until skeptics admit divinity has touched ordinary lives. With palms up I seal this welcome, not a visit, but residence. Stay, reign, overflow, transform until every heartbeat echoes heaven. You are here, you are holy, you are home. Father, the breath of your Spirit still lingers in every corner I opened, and now I sense the next invitation. Step out. Not timidly, not half-heart, but with the confidence that heaven backs every obedient move. Boldness has little to do with personality. It is simply faith in motion. You are calling me to live beyond the safe borders of self-reliance and to tread ground where your glory alone can keep me upright. I admit, courage once seemed reserved for the naturally daring, yet you remind me of shepherd boys facing giants, widows feeding prophets, fishermen challenging empires. Their common trait was not bravado but belief. They trusted that the one who spoke was able to finish what he started. I want that legacy. Let holy audacity rise in my veins, not recklessness, but fearless alignment with your voice. Today, I reject the narrative that says caution equals wisdom when caution is really fear dressed in sensible clothes. Wisdom listens long, but once instructed, it moves quickly. Speak, and I will act. If you say give, I will give even when numbers protest. If you say pray, I will pray even when cynicism mocks. If you say go, I will go even when maps are missing. Let every hesitation be answered by the memory of your faithfulness. Empower my speech. Let truth flow unmarred by insecurity. When silence preserves injustice, make my words rivers of justice. When despair darkens minds, make my stories lanterns of hope. Remove the trimmer that asks, what if they misunderstand? Replace it with a steady assurance. What if they encounter God? Guard my tone with gentleness, but fortify its core with conviction. Strengthen my body for bold compassion. Send me to places comfort avoids, to hospital rooms smelling of antiseptic and fear, to alleyways where hopeless bargains are made, to boardrooms where decisions starve the voiceless. Let my presence carry the atmosphere of another kingdom. May trembling hands be steadied because faith showed up wearing my skin. Refine my imagination so bold dreams replace anxious rehearsals of failure. Let me picture classrooms transformed by kindness, neighborhoods healed by reconciliation, nations softened by intercession. May these visions break the ceiling of what I think possible until my prayers embarrass unbelief. Teach me to risk reputation. If obedience costs applause, let cheers die without regret. If faithfulness invites mockery, let ridicule roll off because your smile outweighs crowds. Anchor my identity so deeply in sonship that public opinion cannot cut what heaven has sealed. Father, baptize my schedule in boldness. Interrupt routines with sudden nudges, texts of encouragement. Spontaneous generosity, unscripted worship in mundane settings. Remind me that miracles often hide inside ordinary yeses. Let grocery aisles become healing corridors. Elevators become confession booths. Commutes become sanctuaries where songs break chains. Train my reflexes for spiritual warfare. When fear whispers worst-case endings, let declarations of promise fly faster. When temptation hisses shortcuts, let the word answer sharper than reluctance. When darkness gathers, teach my feet to dance anyway, not as denial but as defiance, joy wielded like a sword. Thank you for every past moment courage proved your nearness. Conversations I dreaded yet left glowing. Leaps of faith that landed on unseen hands. Gifts given that returned multiplied peace. Let those memories fuel the next risk. Boldness grows strongest when watered by testimony. Protect boldness from pride. Keep my knees familiar with floors. Let every victory credit grace alone. Where applause swells, tune my ear to the quieter commendation. Well done, child, and teach me to slip away like Jesus, choosing solitude over celebrity so intimacy remains intact. Father, I consecrate my entire being, mind, mouth, muscles, money to supernatural courage. I choose movement over maintenance, obedience over analysis, wonder over worry. I believe mountains still move, seas still part, lions still sleep at faith's command, and prisons still shake when praise fills midnight. Today, if you place a giant in my path, I will reach for a stone. If you open a Red Sea, I will raise the staff of prayer. If you whisper a daring idea, I will run the first lap before I see the finish, because the greatest risk is not failing. It is watching history write miracles through braver hearts, while mine stayed safe. Breathe boldness again, now deep, steady, unstoppable. Then lead me out the door into the wide arena of your purposes, where ordinary lives become headlines of glory, and every brave step writes another verse in the story of a kingdom that never retreats. Father, boldness now pulses like fresh blood in my veins, and I hear you whisper the next assignment. Let that courage become a voice, where wounds still smolder beneath calm surfaces, where dreams lie half-buried under years of disappointment, where cities wear the gray coat of despair there. You say, speak, not analysis, not complaint, but life. The same breath that once hovered over chaos now fills my lungs. The same word that raised galaxies now longs to resound through ordinary speech. Teach me the cadence of resurrection language when I stand before a friend whose hope has curled inward. Let my sentences carry warmth like sunrise through a shuttered room. When I enter workplaces thick with cynicism, let casual greetings drip faith. Disarming the practiced size of that is just how it is. When I walk past boarded-up houses and vandalized parks, remind me to bless the pavement, to say under my breath, flourish again. Families will laugh here. Your kingdom advances first in unseen syllables. God, train my tongue to align with heaven's perspective. Silence words that rehearse scarcity. Amplify phrases that announce abundance. Shift my inner commentary so that even private thoughts echo possibility. If the valley of dry bones could rattle at one obedient prophecy, then today's valley's classrooms starved of resources, marriages running on fumes, hearts numbed by scrolling can tremble too. Let me speak to addictions. You are not the master. To anxiety, peace is stronger. To communities labeled lost, you will be called sought after. Guard me from empty positivity. Life speaking is not denial. It stares at death yet calls forth destiny planted deeper. When Lazarus lay 4 days gone, you did not pretend he merely slept. You wept, then commanded, grant me that balance, tears honest enough to honor pain, faith fierce enough to overturn it, where trauma has sealed mouths in quiet resignation. Allow my words to become keys, unlocking testimonies waiting to be sung. Holy Spirit, saturate each declaration with power. A phrase without your breath is wind. A phrase carried by your breath is seed. Embed scripture like iron within my vocabulary, so promises slip into conversation naturally. Sturdy enough to withstand doubt. Let every blessing I pronounce be more than sentiment. Let it be legislation drafted in heaven, enacted on earth. I begin now. Over my own soul I speak life, gifts lying dormant. Awaken, courage flirting with retreat. Stand tall, joy sifted thin by stress, return in fullness. Over my family I declare unity where friction has lingered, vision where monotony dulled sight. Over my neighborhood I decree safety for children, prosperity born of justice, creativity that writes new stories on old walls. Over my nation I proclaim leaders of wisdom, policies kissed by compassion, citizens quick to listen and slow to rage. When resistance answers back, when statistics cite decline, when headlines trumpet chaos, remind me truth is not democratically elected. What you say outranks what news repeats. Empower me to keep speaking until atmosphere shifts, until weary eyes blink at unexpected light. And when victories sprout, guard my heart from credit thirst, and praise return upward, fueling more declarations. Father, place divine appointments along today's path. The cashier with slumped shoulders, who needs a sentence of dignity. The colleague hiding grief behind deadlines, who needs a daring question and unhurried ear. The teenager wrestling self-worth, who needs 3 simple words. I see you. Keep my spirit on alert, pockets full of hope phrases ready to be spent. May I also learn the discipline of silence, withholding speech that would fertilize fear. No casual curses over my schedule, no jokes that diminish my body, no prophecies of disaster over children's futures. Tone becomes climate. I choose warmth. If ever I grow reckless, speaking grand promises without listening first, tug me aside. Life words must rise from intimacy, not impulse. Let secret prayer precede public proclamation, so that authority flows pure. Teach me to pause. Inhale your heart, then exhale its echo. Tonight, when I review the day, let me trace where life took root. A stranger's posture lifted, a problem met with there is a way, a meeting ending in laughter instead of dread. Collect those moments as proof that valleys still respond to voices carried by the Spirit. And should discouragement whisper, nothing changed, return me to Ezekiel's vision bones, as did not assemble at the first rustle. They clattered, aligned. A weighted breath. Persistence is part of prophecy. I will speak again tomorrow, and the next day, until sinews form and breath enters and armies rise from ruins. Thank you for trusting fragile tongues with timeless power. I step into this day intent on releasing gardens from graves, convinced that every sentence surrendered to your spirit can become a spark, and many sparks can become a dawn no darkness can dismiss. Father, the words of life still echo in the air, and as they settle I hear another gentle rumble like distant thunder rolling across a thirsty plain. It is the sound of promise approaching, the sound of rain you foretold while I was still digging ditches in dry sand. Faith spoke. Obedience dug. Now expectation lifts its face, ready to be kissed by the first cool drops. I do not want to miss them. I do not want to stand under the open heaven with arms folded, doubting the downpour I have prayed for. So I choose, right now, to receive. I confess, receiving seems simple yet often feels foreign. I know how to long, how to labor, even how to declare, but when blessing finally arrives, my heart can freeze in cautious surprise. What if it is too good to be true? What if it disappears as quickly as it came? Deliver me from the reflex of scarcity. Teach me to open wide hands, mind, imagination so the rain can reach every root. God, let grateful wonder replace guarded analysis. Let the first evidence of answered prayer stir songs. Not spreadsheets. When resources flow, remind me provision is not a puzzle to control, but a river to steward. When doors swing wide, help me walk through without apology, trusting you to guide each step inside unfamiliar rooms. When healing shows up in ways I did not script, silence the critic that demands explanation and let praise rise instead. I feel the breeze shift. Clouds gather with purpose. Over relationships once brittle, release showers of reconciliation. Let misunderstandings dissolve like dust. Hearts soften. Laughter return over dreams I shelved for fear of failure. Pour creative momentum ideas. Collaborators, courage to launch over dry finances. Send timely opportunities. Wise counsel and diligence to manage increase over weary bodies. Let restorative rain soak deep sleep sweeter. Strength renewed. Diagnosis reversed. Holy Spirit, teach me to dance in this rain, not merely endure it. Children know how. They splash, spin, lift their faces unashamed. Restore that innocence in me. If old disappointments whisper, stay under cover. Drown them with the rhythm of drops on leaves. The percussion of promise fulfilled. Let each splash spell a testimony. God remembers. God replenishes. God restores. As the ground drinks, awaken hidden seeds' talents unnoticed. Callings delayed, compassion numbed by survival. Let dormant gifts break soil, greening desert places in my heart and in my city. May the bloom be fragrant enough that skeptics trace the scent back to your goodness. And yet, receiving is not hoarding. Rain that pools without outlet breeds stagnation. Channel this blessing outward. Show me whose field still cracks with drought. Prompt me to share resources. Mentor freely. Intercede fervently. Celebrate others' harvests as my own. Make generosity the natural overflow of abundance. Father, I will not apologize for the favor you send, but neither will I clutch it. I place every drop back into your hands for direction. Where should this harvest go? Whom should it feed? Which vision does it fund? Keep my soul supple, never so soaked in comfort that I forget the source. Never so busy gathering that I miss your next whisper. Let gratitude become habit. Morning by morning I will note fresh mercies. The subtle shift in a once tense conversation. The email that arrived just in time. The strength that surprised me mid-week. The creative spark that wrote itself while I slept. Gratitude enlarges capacity. The thankful heart can carry more rain without rupture. When skies clear and routine returns, guard me from drought mentality. The same God who sent this rain is faithful to send the next in its season. My security is not the current forecast, but your unchanging character. Teach me to store testimony like cisterns, so in future dry spells I can draw faith from memory. For now I simply stand here, soil beneath bare, feet turning soft, air smelling of renewal, heart opening wider than worry. I tilt my face upward and whisper yes. Yes to blessing. Yes to stewardship. Yes to joy unmeasured. The rain is here, and I receive it. Father, rain still sparkles on the leaves of my heart, and gratitude swells like a river finding its voice. Yet even as abundance pools around my feet, you beckon me higher away from the shine of blessing toward the radiance of the one who blesses. Gifts are glorious, but they are mirrors, bending light back to their source. If I stare only at reflections, I risk losing the face behind them. So here and now I choose reverence over possession, worship over pride. Thank you for every answered prayer, every open door, every healing whisper. I gather them like jewels, then lift them up, offering the crown back to the King. What am I that you are mindful of me? Favor was never my entitlement. It is evidence of your character. Let each provision announce your kindness, not my merit. Each breakthrough trumpet your faithfulness, not my strategy. Guard me from spiritual consumerism, receiving without relationship, celebrating outcomes while neglecting communion. When applause of people rises, teach me to step aside so the ovation lands where it belongs. May compliments become cues to praise you aloud. May milestones trigger memories of sleepless nights where you stayed. I refuse to gorge on blessing and forget hunger around me. Align my eyes with yours so that the satisfied become servants. Show me practical ways to convert harvest into help. Mentoring the overlooked, funding vision in barren places. Visiting those whose prayers still sound like drought. Loving you means loving them. Father, keep wonder awake. Let me never yawn at miracles. If daily bread arrives again tomorrow, let gratitude taste as fresh as first provision. If another door opens, let surprise still widen my eyes. Familiarity must not breed contempt. It should breed deeper awe. Teach me to steward testimony. Help me record victories. Rehearse them with friends. Seed them into future generations. Stories of your power are inheritance. I will not bury them beneath new pursuits. Ignite gatherings around tables where we recount every mercy until the room vibrates with hope. Should success tempt me to own what only grace supplied, remind me of wilderness days' pocket lint budgets, tear-stained pillows, prayers that felt like echoes. Those seasons were teachers, stripping illusions and shaping dependence. I honor them too. They pressed me close to your heartbeat. Lord, examine motives hidden beneath thanksgiving. If flattery disguises greed, expose it. If public gratitude masks private entitlement, confront it. Purify celebration until it is simple, sincere, and surrendered. And when blessing pauses, as seasons turn, keep honor steady. Praise that evaporates in scarcity was never praise, but transaction. I want loyalty that sings in loss, worship that kneels in waiting. You remain worthy beyond circumstance. Finally, let my whole life tip toward doxology work. Rest, art, laughter, even suffering becoming chorus. May those who watch me encounter not a collector of miracles, but a reflector of majesty. In sun or storm, plenty or pause, let my posture declare, the giver himself is the greatest gift. Teach my senses to discern your signature in quiet corners. The low hum of peace after confession. The tilt of sunlight that paints grace on ordinary walls. The way a forgiving hug dissolves decades of tension. These subtle wonders are no less miraculous than parting seas. They simply require slower eyes. Cultivate in me that contemplative pace until every heartbeat becomes a benediction. I honor you with time, choosing unhurried mornings where agenda bows to adoration, choosing Sabbath hours where production pauses so presence can speak. I honor you with words, refusing gossip that corrodes or sarcasm that belittles, waving instead sentences that lift heads and mend breaches. I honor you with resources, budgeting generosity first and comfort later, proving with ledgers what my lips profess. If platforms expand, let humility expand faster. Allow me to descend even as influence rises, washing feet in boardrooms, giving credit in headlines, remembering that dust plus breath equals me. No accolade alters that equation, and if seasons shrink my stage, let secrecy sparkle hidden intercession. Unseen kindness, a quiet cup of water offered in your name. Audience size never determines value. Obedience does. Father, receive this renewed pledge. Every field you water I will cultivate for your glory. Every talent you entrust I will lay at your feet. Every day you grant I will spend like coins stamped with your image. May angels note that in my story the spotlight never settled on the servant, always on the sovereign. Let smiles on those I serve rise like incense, drifting back to your throne as evidence of your love in motion. Let my final breath echo the anthem I choose again this dawn. Not to us, but to your name be glory forever. Unshared, undimmed. Father, the declaration of honor just spoken naturally widens my vision. When love is fixed on you alone, it spills sideways, seeking new vessels. The rain you poured and the reverence you stirred have filled my cup past the brim. Streams run down its sides, eager to find the thirsty. I will not dam this overflow. I will direct it. Lift my eyes beyond my circle, that I may stand as a living conduit, blessing moving through. Never stopping with me, I begin with home. Wrap my family in the warmth of your presence, where tension once sparked. Speak gentleness through me, where fatigue has frayed patience. Release supernatural rest. For children and elders alike, appoint angels at doorways, wisdom in decision, laughter in the ordinary. Let our table be a refuge, our conversations be truth-soaked in kindness, our hospitality a silent sermon of grace. I stretch hands toward friends walking valleys I once knew. For the job seeker, breathe favor into interviews, clarity into choices. For the couple nursing hidden wounds, implant new language of empathy, new rhythms of forgiveness. For the dreamer facing delay, resurrect perseverance and joy. Where I can serve, prompt me quickly. Where I can only pray, guard me from passive distance, make intercession weighty and consistent. Now, Lord, enlarge the map. I intercede for teachers in overcrowded classrooms. Supply creativity, stamina, holy stubbornness that refuses to label any child hopeless. For medical staff treating corridors of crisis, steady shaking hands, soothe compassion fatigue, whisper diagnosis missed by human eyes. For first responders braving chaos, Place courage behind every siren and peace inside every uniform. I call out artisans and storytellers. Let inspiration invade their studios, so culture hears melodies and sees images that awaken conscience. Confront injustice. Remind humanity of wonder. Guard their hearts from despair disguised as sophistication. May beauty seated in secret echo in boardrooms and backstreets alike. I speak over local leaders. May humility sit heavier than ambition. Turn council chambers into laboratories of equity. Legislation halls into altars of service. Replace rivalry with synergy. Bureaucracy with breakthrough. Cynicism with sincere listening. Equip them with solutions that outlive terms. For those silenced by oppression. Be voice. For refugees fleeing terror. Be road and roof. For prisoners of addiction. Be key and keeper. Send laborers, including me, into fields white for harvest. If the harvest looks like mentoring one teenager, or translating one document, or baking one loaf of bread, let me do the small faithfully. You multiply loaves. Holy Spirit, teach me strategic generosity. Show me accounts to empty, rooms to open, skills to share. Let giving feel less like subtraction and more like sowing. Protect my motive. Charity that starves pride, not feeds it. Service that remembers names, not numbers. May secret giving outpace public, and anonymous prayers uphold those publicity forgets. Remind me that covering others also means standing in spiritual gap, so I lift pastors bearing invisible weight. Cloak them with refreshing. I lift missionaries naming Jesus in unfamiliar tongues. Cloak them with favor. I lift activists wary from pushing darkness back. Cloak them with courage. I lift widows waking to quiet kitchens. Cloak them with companionship. I lift orphans scanning crowds for belonging. Cloak them with adoption if not mine. Then someone's whose heart you nudge today. Let compassion steer my calendar. Interrupt scrolling with prompts to call, prompts to write, prompts to show up. Convert errands into encounters, commutes into prayer walks, lunchtime into listening sessions. Keep me allergic to indifference. If apathy tries to dull perception, shock my senses with your heartbeat for the one in front of me. Even conflicts become chances to cover. When offended, help me bless not blast. When misunderstood, choose bridge not barricade. Drip grace into incendiary threads until words cool and hearts reopen. Over every exchange place the banner, love never fails. Finally, Jesus, tutor me in endurance. For covering is not a moment but a mantle. Some prodigals require years of prayer. Some policies many petitions. Some chains repeated praise before they break. Strengthen my shoulders. Refill my cup daily. Remind me the outcome is yours. Perseverance mine. May the overflow continue river into river, and deserts worldwide bloom with stories of people once parched, now planting orchards for others. And when anyone traces the stream upstream, let them find only your spring. Forever abundant. Forever good. Let this covering prayer rise each dawn like mist above a river, settling over all I meet. Keep my spirit alert. Heart generous. words seasoned with hope, steps guided by compassion unceasing. Father, the river of compassion that flowed outward now loops back, inviting steady currents rather than sporadic floods. Covering others is glorious, yet I sense your gentle nudge. Alignment must anchor generosity, or the stream will wander into exhaustion. You are not calling me to heroic sprints, but to a synchronized walk where each ordinary hour hums in tune with heaven's metronome. Teach me that pace. I begin at dawn. Before phone glow or headline glare, I surrender agenda into your hands. What meetings should shift? What margins must widen? Which task is seed and which is chaff? Whisper adjustments. I will edit freely. Alignment starts with listening, not listing. Guide my body, the meals I choose, the rest I guard, the movement I honor. These clay jars carry treasure. Neglect is not humility. Let sleep become sacrament. Exercise gratitude in motion. Nutrition an act of stewardship. When I care well for flesh, it yields stronger yeses to spirit. Guide my mind, the inputs I digest, the stories I rehearse. If scrolling warps perspective, nudge me off the feed and into scripture's fields. If self-talk soars, replace scripts with truth beloved. Chosen, equipped. Let meditation drift from worry loops to promise loops until anxiety finds no frequency on which to broadcast. Guide my finances. First fruits to you, next fruits to need. Living from leftovers of grace. Widen the margin so generosity remains joy, not burden. Guard my heart from lifestyle creep. Simplicity keeps the soul light enough to follow sudden winds of obedience. Guide my relationships. Calibrate words to edify, not merely entertain. Slow me to notice tone, posture, timing. Show me when advice is premature, when silence is support, when challenge is rescue. Teach me to practice the sacred art of follow up a text tomorrow, a check-in next week, because love grows in the soil of consistency. Guide my work, whether spreadsheets or sermons, diapers or designs. Let excellence rise from devotion, not ego. If doors close, realign skills to new fields instead of lamenting old plots. Remind me vocation is not a cage. It is a canvas where kingdom colors spread through diligence and creativity. Guide my technology. May devices remain tools, not tyrants. Establish Sabbath pockets throughout the day. A phone face down at meals. Tabs closed during prayer. Notifications silenced when presence matters more than updates. In that quiet, breed attentiveness to birdsong. Eye contact. Divine whispers. Lord. Alignment also means course correction. Give me sensitivity to conviction's early tap, so I turn while missteps are small, if harshness slips into conversation. Let apology be immediate. If jealousy needles my peace, expose it before resentment blooms. Keep short accounts. Repentance is the daily oil that keeps gears from grinding. Shield me from comparison disguised as inspiration. Each path has custom contours. Running in another, slain fractures focus. Let celebration replace envy. Curiosity replace judgment. Blessing replace critique. Your body moves best when every joint supplies, not competes. Plant holy interruptions, spontaneous prayer pauses. Sidewalk. Conversations. Moments of wonder that recenter soul and schedule. Train my reflexes to welcome them as guidance. Not inconvenience. You orchestrate serendipities. I will hold plans loosely enough for miracles to fit. In conflict, align my reactions. Slow anger with empathy. Sharpen truth with gentleness. Pursue reconciliation over vindication. If peace requires silence. Grant restraint. If justice requires voice. Grant courage. Let discernment, not impulse, steer. At dusk, help me review the day without harsh inventory. Celebrate alignment kept. Note drift without shame. Hand tomorrow back for editing. Gratitude will close the ledger. Trust will seal the night. Father, as stars take their ordered places, remind me alignment is less about flawless execution and more about constant orientation, heart pointed true north, even when steps zigzag. I will wobble, but grace is gyroscope, writing internal compass again and again. May those who walk beside me sense quiet rhythm steady. Unhurried, purposeful drawing them toward the same guiding light. In a world of bustle and drift, make aligned lives a beacon, proof that there is a pace that heals hurry, a wisdom that steers complexity, a love that frames every ordinary act with eternal significance. So I lace today's shoes, breathe a prayer, adjust the stride, and step into whatever streets grace has marked, confident that as long as my ear inclines to your cadence, every footprint will echo the harmony of heaven on earth. Father, walking in daily alignment steadies my present steps, and from that steady ground my gaze naturally lifts beyond the horizon. I feel you tipping my chin toward days yet unformed, whispering that hope is not a fragile wish, but a mighty current pulling me toward your prepared future. The same faith that rooted my yesterday and guides my today now invites me to lean into tomorrow without flinch or fret. I confess, forecasts of chaos often crowd my feet, economies wobbling, climates straining, hearts growing cold, yet your spirit counters headlines with headlines of his own. Promises impervious to market swings, covenants immune to cultural decay, a kingdom unshakable. I choose to anchor imagination there. Show me what it looks like to wake each dawn certain that goodness and mercy are already sprinting ahead. Arranging encounters, scripting provision, redeeming detours. Teach me hopeful planning, dreaming with pencil not pen, trusting you to ink revisions that serve eternal plots. Let budget sheets carry columns titled Kingdom Ventures. Let calendars leave white space labeled Divine Surprises. When opportunities arise that outsize credentials, may hope answer. Of course, we expected greater works. When obstacles loom, may hope reply. Giants mark promised land. Keep walking. Form in me a vocabulary of anticipation. Replace if it works out with when God makes a way. We will see with we will testify. Guard the tone from presumption. True hope bows humble, aware that timing and style remain yours. Still, it speaks with bright assurance because character of giver defines quality of gifts. Hope also reorganizes memories. Where failure once wrote futility, let hindsight reveal seeds. Lessons. Pruning. If regret whispers too late, hope replies ripe time. If age argues dreams expire. Hope counters. Caleb climbed mountains at 85. Infuse every season youthful zeal. Midlife complexity. Twilight reflection with projects of purpose. Father, expand hope's perimeter beyond personal story. I place nations on the table. Conflict zones may ceasefires bloom into lasting justice. Marginalized neighborhoods may revival sprout in community gardens. Reading circles. Entrepreneurial. Sparks. Staggered churches may unity outrun doctrinal echo chambers, showcasing diverse harmonies. Academic halls may curiosity marry reverence. Discovery bow to wonder. I dare to picture reporters scrambling to cover outbreaks of kindness. Economists recalculating wealth by generosity indexes. Poets struggling to capture global sighs of relief. Guard me, however, from distant optimism that neglects local soil. Hope true enough for tomorrow must shape habits today. So I invest in children, plant trees whose shade I may not sit under. Vote with conscience. Mentor quietly. Recycle faithfully. Pray nightly. Each act a small wager on a victorious future. When delay stretches, keep hope muscular. Teach me to rehearse fulfilled prophecies. Count starry promises like Abraham. Sing midnight hymns like Paul. Let suspense thicken faith's flavor rather than soar it. Some answers ripen slow, but once they arrive, they taste of eternity. If storms shatter plans, let hope salvage timber for new vessels. If doors slam, let hope scout windows. If grief visits, let hope sit respectfully beside tears, holding lantern for the path beyond sorrow. You, man of sorrows, model how pain and expectation coexist without canceling each other. Holy Spirit, infuse nighttime dreams with blueprints of future mercy. Fill journal margins with nudges, sketches, strategies. Wake me with phrases like build, write, launch, accompanied by peace that overrides risk calculators. Surround me with friends who speak life over nascent visions and call me higher when cynicism creeps. May my very presence become prophecy. Let posture, laughter, diligence, remainers in difficulty broadcast a quiet message. Brighter days are not naive, they are inevitable under Christ. And when curiosity asks for reasons, may I share hope's source with clarity and gentleness, turning conversations into doorways of salvation. Father, thank you that the path ahead is not a maze, but a mosaic pieces collected from every surrendered moment. Assembled by nail-scarred hands into glory I will one day see in full. Until that unveiling, I walk forward eyes wide. Heart light, pockets full of seeds, declaring with each confident stride. The best, because of you, is truly yet to come. Father, carrying hope for tomorrow, I return to the quiet center where this long prayer began. The dawn that once found me weary now finds me awake, steady, and expectant. I feel each theme we have walked: honesty, healing, trust, movement, preparation, praise, surrender, overflow, alignment, anticipation arranging inside like chords resolving toward a gentle cadence. Nothing is finished, yet everything is underway, and that is enough. I breathe slowly and sense your nearness settle over the room. No fanfare, no thunder, only the soft assurance that the one who started this conversation is committed to stay. My heart responds with uncomplicated worship. It is the worship of a soul that has traveled dark valleys, splashed in sudden rain, torn down false altars, shouted truth into empty streets, and now simply rests in the friendship of God. Words shrink before such presence. Yet gratitude keeps rising, proof that spirit and breath were always meant for praise. I lift that gratitude like incense. For every listener who has lingered through these chapters, for every tear that turned into seed, for every quiet yes whispered in kitchens and cars, for every heavy night exchanged for morning mercies, I give thanks. We are scattered across cities and nations, yet your spirit has woven us into one prayer. One family, one story of redemption still unfolding. I ask that this shared journey become a daily rhythm, not a distant memory. Let each person carry a personal portion of the themes we explored. May confession stay honest, forgiveness swift, expectation bold, obedience brave, generosity ready, alignment steady, hope unshakable. When routines threaten to dull wonder, breathe again the first love surprise. When storms press, remind them of rivers released from spoken faith. When victories come, teach them to bow lower, honoring the giver above the gift. Father, I bless the homes represented here. Fill doorsills with peace, tables with laughter, hallways with songs that anchor young hearts. Bless workplaces, corner offices, classrooms, fields, studios until excellence becomes a luminous witness. Bless communities so that kindness rolls through streets like a warm tide, lifting those who once sank in isolation. Bless nations with leaders whose decisions echo justice and compassion in equal measure. And now to every friend still listening, thank you for traveling the full length of this prayer. Your patience, your openness, your silent agreement have turned words into communion. If any phrase stirred hope, share it below and let someone else catch the spark. If you hold a request, write it so we can join our faith with yours. Testimonies and petitions together make a well where many will drink. Consider subscribing so these moments of devotion can meet you again tomorrow. Share this video with anyone wandering through night seasons. Let it guide them toward light. Return often, not for novelty but for nourishment, and invite others to build a rhythm of faith that never runs dry. Before we part, I speak blessing over your hunger to know God more. May curiosity draw you deeper into promise, never into cynicism. May Scripture open like sunlight through leaves, each verse flickering fresh color. May prayer shift from monologue to dialogue, answers surfacing while you lace your shoes or wait in traffic. May worship surprise you at bus stops and checkout lines, proving that wherever you breathe, heaven is near. I bless your online spaces. May posts carry encouragement more than envy, connection more than complaint. May each comment sow peace into the scrawling souls who read it. Let your digital footprint outline a path of kindness. I bless your nights with dreams that untangle fear and sketch blueprints of courage. I bless your mornings with clarity, your afternoons with resilient joy, your evenings with contentment gentle enough to hush regret. Remember, faith flourishes when tended. Water it with the word. Strengthen it through serving. Rest it in Sabbath pauses. When doubt knocks, let it sit beside truth until truth quietly prevails. Stay linked. Use the comments below as a living prayer wall. Share victories. Ask for help. Cheer someone on. Subscribe so these moments can meet you again. And pass the link along to a friend whose sky feels heavy. Return often. New manna will be waiting. Step into the day like breeze through curtains. Dawn grows new.